Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We will start when we reach to 90 participants. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Please just be patient. We're just waiting for one more participant and then we'll start so that we don't start after that people start joining. Okay. I'd like to welcome you to the fifth day of NHRA Medical Device Regulation first webinar. Today's module is about medical device classification and NHRA updates on the regulation during COVID-19. It will be presented by myself and Ms. Sabika. A few housekeeping details and then I will start with my presentation. We have enabled the Q&A box located at the bottom of the screen. Please feel free to raise any question during and after the presentation, where it will be then answered by the speaker. And in order to take advantage of this time, I would like to kindly encourage you to raise questions that are related to today's module. We will have an interactive session at the end of the webinar where you will be able to ask the speaker directly by clicking on Raise Hand button. There is no need to take photos of the presentation as it will be shared after the webinar. At the end of the webinar, we will be having the exam regarding today's module that will be shared as a link in the chat box. Please make sure to click the link as soon as possible, as the link will be only valid for 20 minutes upon ending the webinar. We are delighted to announce that the top 5 candidates will be earning their seats in the Committee of Medical Device Private Market Representative, where they can take part to set the new regulation with us, while piloting it together to take their valuable feedback into consideration prior to implementation during our monthly meeting. All participants will be receiving certificate of attendance, and I hope you benefit as much as possible from this webinar. Please visit GCC MedTech website to get more information about the first GCC Summit for Medical Device agenda and speakers. I will now start with the first part of today's presentation, which is medical device regulation updates. Due to the global COVID-19 pandemic, medical device manufacturers and suppliers are under exceptional pressure to deliver key medical equipment and technologies in order to fight the coronavirus pandemic as quickly and effectively as possible. And I'll be presenting how NHRA are considering all possible approaches to best ease this burden while still guaranteeing the quality and safety of medical devices. I will start with the COVID-19 medical device regulation, and then we'll explain some of the safety alerts that has been circulated by NHRA during the pandemic. At the end, I will present the new COVID-19 requirements published on the website. NHRA took a pragmatic approach in amending importation requirements to be only limited to a quality assurance certificate, so we can have our medical suppliers putting all their energies into what the kingdom need them to be doing, helping fight the pandemic. Since shortages or delays in getting key medical devices certified or on the market are not an option right now, we also considered the emergency use authorization for medical devices issued by the FDA as a supportive document to clear the shipment. As for the verification of the quality assurance certificate, during the extraordinary situation, NHRA took into consideration that the notified bodies will definitely not be able to perform audits during the pandemic, which will eventually cause postponing on-site surveillance audits. Therefore, we have increased the verification period from 3 to 6 months, given that the certificate has not been terminated due to major non-conformity. Due to the vast variation of rapid test results, where it can impair prevention efforts and delay appropriate treatment for positive patients, the Kingdom of Bahrain has limited the use of rapid tests to research purpose used by governmental hospital only, which will lead to regulating HS code 38220000 to be able to closely monitor the importation of these devices. As PCR devices are used during the pandemic as the only method currently available to identify COVID-19 positive cases, NHRA limited the importation of these devices to healthcare facilities authorized by NHRA to implement COVID-19 sample testing in order to control the test result documentation, where importers need to attach LPO, an authorization letter from NHRA along with the invoice and the quality assurance certificate to clear the shipment. In order to ensure that the necessary products are urgently needed in these times of crisis can be quickly made available to those in need and assist in ending this pandemic, NHRA took derogation measures on April this year to hand sanitizer manufacturing and importation, where it is not mandatory to get NHRA approval as long as the product is in compliance with the published guideline. The Kingdom of Bahrain Custom Affairs circulated a list of globally identified sources of counterfeit medical devices. NHRA circulated this list to all importers to take all necessary actions and measures to avoid importation of any products from these sources to prevent rejection of the shipment. One of NHRA's role during this pandemic is to provide an adequate level of protection for users' health and safety. NHRA published several safety notices and circulars to public and healthcare professionals, and I will only cover a few of them in today's presentation. The most recent one was the use of infrared thermometers and the measure that must be taken in order to guarantee effective results. One other piece of innovation that gained a vast amount of interest during the pandemic is the disinfection tunnel. NHRA issued a safety notice alerting from the potential harm this device could cause if used on humans, where disinfectants used can cause eyes or skin irritation and respiratory issues if inhaled. Therefore, the use of these tunnels is now limited to luggages and are not permitted to be used for humans. In terms of PPE, personal protective equipment, NHRA published the list of KN95 that has proven by FDA and CDC the non-compliance to international standards and can no longer be used by medical staff fighting against coronavirus. The distribution and advertisement of Air Doctor products claiming to fight against coronavirus are not permitted, as it failed to prove its effectiveness against the claim. Several recalls has been published on our website for hand sanitizers manufactured locally and abroad that are not in compliance with NHRA guideline. Speaking about the website, we have created a new tab on medical device regulation website for coronavirus related topics to make it easier for public to access. And I would like to take this opportunity to ask the participant to share their experience with medical device webpage by clicking on the poll button to express if you're able to easily locate the document you have been looking for on the website or not. The poll button, I think the poll is accessible now, and you can feel free by clicking yes or no. Okay, we can see the results now. %89 voted yes and 11 voted no. We will try, inshallah, to improve, and thank you for those who voted yes. We've really put a lot of effort to make it easier. Under this new tab, you can find the requirement of importing disinfectants and the list of approved products related to fight against COVID-19, in addition to the pragmatic manufacturing requirements of medical masks and the list of the field safety notices and circulars related to COVID-19 pandemic. One last point I would like to clarify is the requirements of N95 mask importation. And you can send these requirements to medical_devices@nhra.ph to get NHRA pre-approval. It's the invoice, the artwork, the verified NIOSH FDA ISO or CE, matching with the face mask mentioned on the invoice and the artwork, along with the model. To those who are not fully aware of the counterfeit products available in the global market, this image summarizes one of the easily spotted measures where all NIOSH approved N95 masks must have the TC number, which is highlighted here, printed on it. And you can use that number on CDC webpage to verify the authenticity of this mask. You can also view the list of counterfeit NIOSH masks on CDC webpage for your knowledge. I would like to strongly encourage all importers to carefully select products prior to marketing it in the kingdom, as we need to work together to prevent the importation of these counterfeited products, to protect the users from being exposed to the virus while taking all potential measures they can consider. That brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. And now we will cover the second part of the presentation by Ms. Sabika, which is the new process, medical device classification.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. Welcome to Medical Device Classification Workshop. Today we will cover the following 5 topics and details. Introduction about combined medical device term to cancellation. What to classify, when and how many times. Method of submission and how to apply. Classification requirement and classification rules. As you know, this is our website, and you will get all the update information about the medical device. Introduction about the combined medical device term to cancellation. Based on this circular number 29, the process of combined medical device importation requirements It has been uploaded in Office system, and you will get the updates list of HS code in our website. Why we do the classification? If you see the green circular of medical device, it is overlap with other products. This is the purpose for classification. Number 2, what to classify, when, and how many times. What should be classified? New as a new product, was not imported and approved before as a medical device. If the product with herbal ingredients, it's needed for classified. Depend to the claim. If any product, if there is any claim that is similar to any pharmaceutical product, single-use medical device. Now I will show you some photos or pictures for the product. Should be classified. Dialysis solution, skin filler, gel creams, drops, ear drops, spray, and herbal product. Here you can see some product does not require any classification, like PRP kit, normal saline used for a nebulizer, contact lens solution, IVD, and injectable cosmetic filler. When you need to classification, before import or submitting the documents to NHRA. Okay. If the criteria match the product you want to import, when you will approve and apply in UFOC, after getting the classification letter. Method of submission and how to apply. Number 3. For medical device classification submission, you should book an appointment through the appointee system. You can submit your document through email. As you know, because of the COVID-19, the submission documents it's be through the email. Yeah, it's mean you can send your document to medical endoscope devices and at nhra.bh. We have 4 appointments in a week. The team of medical device will review your documents. Then, if the product is classified as a medical device, the applicant will receive the classification letter to be used for every importation request. If you change from the manufacturer to another manufacturer, or there is in a product, there is any different ingredients or claim or like that, then you have to submit again. Or otherwise, you can use this approval for a long time. In case the product is not classified as a medical device, an official letter will be issued clarifying the reason of the rejection with recommendation, if any. Number 4, classification requirements. This is the link. You can find the product classification requirement documents, or if you will go to our website in classification, you will see the checklist Under that, you will get the product classification requirement document. Okay, now if you note that the registration medical device, importation medical device, and classification medical device, the documents are similar. And then the first topic, free sale certificate, must be issued from the regulatory authority in the country of origin, including the manufacturer name, medical device name, should be signed and stamped with a date. The second requirement is free sale certificate issued from one of the reference country. I attach for you the link, our website, when you can find the list of reference countries. Number 3, last 3 approved previously invoice should be for same product, same manufacturer, and same country of origin. Please be sure before you submit the document that is same product, same manufacturer, and same country of origin to avoid evaluation. The quality assurance certificate, exam CE mark, FDA, or ISO 13485. It should be valid and verified. And as you know, how to verify and what we are looking in certificate. We are looking for the scopes, the manufacturer name, the country of origin, the expiry date, and the validity. Okay? Be sure before you submit the document. Product artwork and intended use. It's issued from the manufacturer explaining the medical claim of the product. Okay, and we are in artwork should be including the manufacturer name, medical device name, and country of origin. Should be clear in Arabic and English. The product catalog or the leaflet from the product catalog or the leaflet should be also issued from the manufacturer, explaining the mode of the action, and it should be clear, not as I attached. Declaration from the manufacturer should the active ingredients per percentage and it should not contracted with the percentage of the drugs classification. Topic number 5, classification rules based on the product technical details. The rules. How do we do the classification? If you will see here, we have 4 points, okay, for the classification rules. Okay, other supporting details that can you add it and for classification. This one depends to the case. As an example, if you have, you will submit a document for different manufacturer, yani we have a legal manufacturer and physical manufacturer. In this case, I will ask you, please provide a relationship letter. But as I said, depend on the case for other supporting details if I need it. Getting a classification letter does not mean that you can import. You should apply an UFOC system. This is our UFOC system. better you have a username and password to apply. I attach for you the medical device importation guideline. It's to be easy for you before importing the product or products. Okay, here you can get, you can see it is the guide checklist for medical device importation before you're submitting an office system. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Sabika. Now that we're done with the presentation, let's move into the question and answer portion of our webinar. I was actually amazed that people started asking before the classification presentation was done. So we have tried to filter the questions as much as possible. Sabika? Yes, okay. So there's a lot of questions related to you, but there's only one question or two questions related to the updates of COVID. So if you don't mind, I will just answer those first. How to be part of the list of the approved products for COVID, you need to apply. I'm not sure about what product you're asking, but if it's a disinfectant, you need to submit the required document published on the website to medical_devices@nhra.bh. Once you get the approval, the details of the product will be published on their website. Please need to check the TC number in which sites. The TC number is issued by the CDC entity. It's like the NIOSH approval. You can visit cdc.com and you can enter the number there. Okay. What is the validity of the certificates of classification, Sabika? Is there any validity?
No, there is not any validity. They can use it for a long time. If they change the manufacturer, or they change the product, or they change the claim, anything, they can submit it again.
Okay. What is the time frame for classification of a product? Maybe this is a new process, so we don't have yet any time frame, but is there any expected time frame?
It's 1 week to 2 weeks only.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Free sale certificate to be issued with the name of legal manufacturer or physical manufacturer?
Legal manufacturer.
I cannot hear you.
Legal manufacturer.
Declaration letter for active composition or composition certificate is fine. I think they're talking about the active ingredient in that term. Yes, it will be fine as long as the details we want is available. Can you elaborate on this requirements? Like what exactly you're asking about in terms of a declaration shows the active ingredient and percentage?
I can't hear you.
Okay. They're asking about the requirements for the DOC of the percentages. Can you explain it again?
The declaration of, 1 second.
Okay, let's take another question while you go back to that slide. Is the classification mandatory if I am 100% that my product is a medical device, example software? Also, please advise with the need of declaration regarding the API percentages. If you are 100% sure that your product is a medical device, then you can apply, but you will be held responsible for that, because what we're trying to do is to eliminate any doubts, especially that now the term combined medical device has been cancelled, and that has some effects on the importation, where applicants do not know is this a medical device or not from the HS code. They need to know it from the classification itself. Are you ready, Sabika?
Yes.
Yes.
Declaration from the manufacturer shows the active ingredients percentage, and it should be not contradicted with the percentage of the pharmaceutical.
Okay, so any letter from the manufacturer stating the percentage of the active ingredients, all the active ingredients along with their percentages is adequate, is approved, right? Okay.
Yes.
They're asking about what medical devices require classification. I know that you have explained that, but maybe if we can, I think, publish this list on the website, it will be helpful. So inshallah, after the webinar, we will make sure that it is published on the website so you can refer to it. It is not limited. We will keep on updating it based on the questions that we get. If the medical device is already classified as a medical device from the country of origin, does it need to be classified again under NHRA? Let's say, for example, it was classified in an XYZ country as a medical device. Do I still need to bring it to you?
Yes, better to, you get the letter from NHRA for classification. It's better for you. So no need to again and again to apply.
Is there any fees for the classification?
Right now, no fees. In future, inshallah.
So now the combined medical device, just to clarify, the combined medical device was a term that we have initiated for importers to differentiate between pharmaceutical and medical device products, because they were sharing the same HS code. Now that we have created a subcategory for these HS codes, the term of a combined medical device is no longer valid. Now it is only related to the regular term, the combination medical device. So all medical devices have an HS code under 2251, which is medical device regulation. I can see that there's a lot of questions. Let's open a chance for the participants. Please raise your hand if we have Manisha. Manisha, ready to ask your question live. Manisha, you need to unmute your mic and start asking your question, please. Or maybe we can unmute the mic.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, hello, Ranjini Nada. Greetings
Hello,
to all of you. Okay, just a question that is it compulsory? Like every new product we get, it's compulsory to classify and then apply in a fork.
Not every new product. It's actually the products under the criteria she have explained.
Okay, fine. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, there is one question. Medical device like non-sterile locking screw, bone screw, orthopedic, is it mandatory to classify or register these products with NHRA? I'm not going to answer the part of register because the registration session was on the second day. But let's answer the part which is related to classification. If we are talking about implants, do implants require like a classification?
No. They have to apply it. No.
They can apply directly. Okay.
Yes.
We can take Mr. Ahmed Abdurrahman. Mr. Ahmed, you need to unmute your mic so that we can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank NHRA for the highly effort done during this pandemic period.
Thank you.
and your great effort. I think now it will be much more easier for even combined medical device. It's just will take 1 or 2 weeks, and then it will be very good after that. I just one question: if we have the manufacturer from Sweden, okay, but it is distributed by France, so free sale certificate, it should be from both countries.
Yes, Sabika? Do you need him to repeat his question?
Yeah, if the product is manufactured, for example, in Sweden, okay, and it is distributed by a company in France. So do we need a free sale certificate from both countries?
No, the distribution country don't have to provide the free sale certificate. Actually, it's related to, the free sale certificate is related to the legal manufacturer.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. There is one question about, okay, our product is already classified in NHRA by PPR as a biological medical device. And we were directed to medical device. Classification document is available. Can we safely assume that we don't need to go through the classification process again in MDR?
No. No.
What do you recommend to do? They have
already.
Yeah, so they have to submit again to medical device classification?
No, if it's already, from the PPR, they already said that it's medical device, no need to classify it again.
With the PPR, but they still need to classify it with our department?
Yes. Right.
In this classification guidance, the first and second requirement is the same, which is free sale certificate.
No.
Can you please clarify the differences?
Yeah, first it's a free sale certificate from the country of origin. Second is a free sale certificate from one of the reference country. Like from the SFDA or USA, it's a medical device.
Okay, thank you very much. There is one very interesting question. Can the authorized representative prepare the instruction for use locally, as the manufacturer cannot send it in English, as they have to apply for medical device change? In that case, as per local regulation, no. The authorized representative cannot provide instruction for use, and it has to be in English or in Arabic. If it's not in both languages, then you cannot market it in Bahrain, because you have to put yourself in the end user shoes, how they will be able to understand what are the instructions. We have Mr. Andre. Mr. Andre, please unmute your mic.
Yes, assalamu alaikum again.
Welcome, sir.
I had a question regarding this the disinfection tunnel. You said it's not approved to be used in Bahrain because it can cause some itching and problems with that. But as I believe, it depends on the liquid they put in order to disinfect.
Yeah, because
okay,
yes, continue.
From my side, I want just to find out, do you think it's not going to be used at all, or you are thinking about changing the recommendation for the liquid to be applied in the skin?
Okay, so far, thank you for your question. So far, there has been no disinfectant approved to be inhaled or sprayed directly into the eyes or skin. So once there is some disinfectant that has been proved to be safe for humans to inhale it or sprayed directly into the eyes and skin, we might reconsider.
And I had one more question. Regarding the new technologies, for instance, right now nobody is bringing some technologies on the market, but do you do any research from your side and encourage?
Yes.
companies to bring new products? Or
yes, you can always contact us on medical_devices with your new technology. If you're facing any issues or any problems, we can always do an intensive research together with the supportive results and tests provided. We can support you to provide this new technology into Bahrain market.
Thank you.
Given that it has proven its safety and quality.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much for your valuable questions. There's one question about, is the hand sanitizer regulated as a medical device if alcohol is less than 50%? As per the guideline published on our website, hand sanitizers cannot be less than 50%, less than 70%. And I think we have issued many field safety notices about hand sanitizers with less than 70% alcohol. If the product is a medical device in the country of origin and reference country and there is no claims, still it requires classification?
Because we will give them the letter
yes, to be in the safe side.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. If our product is already classified, I think this one we've already answered it. Sorry for that. As per NHRA, we require 3 approved invoices. But what if are importing for the first time, or we have only 1 approved invoice? What should they do, Ms. Sabika?
They have to apply all the documents, and inshallah they will get the classification, but it depends on the case, and we will check.
It's actually a one-time process. It's a one-time process. You don't need to redo it every now and then. Do we need to submit for classification for accessories and spare parts?
No.
For combined medical device importation, do we have to obtain no objection through email or manual approval from NHRA, PPR department, and MOH controlled medicine department for clearance of the shipment, as these HS codes are also regulated by them? Okay, if you allow me to clarify this point, Sabika.
Yeah.
This subcategory, the combined medical device, we have created a subcategory, which is the main HS code, along with the additional 3 subcategory codes, are only regulated by medical device. It is not shared between us and PPR. The purpose of the new HS codes was to actually remove this kind of a conflict or confusion to the applicants. You might have this HS code shared with MOH. I'm not sure. We need to cross-check. But it will never be an HS code shared between us and PPR. Is a composition certificate required for classification? I think we've answered this, sorry. Okay. Can you please, in brief, tell us how you classify medical device? Not points mentioned in the presentation, but briefly, based on what we can classify. You want me to answer it, or you will?
No, you answer it.
Okay. So it's actually the focal point is the intended use and the mode of action. If the product, in addition to for sure, the classification of the country of origin, but if we reach to the point that we need to do the classification based on the ingredient or the product itself, we look into the intended use and the mode of action. If the mode of action is physical, it falls under the definition of a medical device, then it can be classified as a medical device. If not, it will be diverted to classification committee by PPR, and they will see how they can classify it. The intended use, if the intended use of it is falling under the definition of a medical device, like let me give you an example. knee filler. It's a hyaluronic acid, pre-filled syringes. The intended use of it is to relieve the pain between two, like instead of the vertebral, instead of the cartridge, where it prevents any pain for the knee. This is the intended use. Prevention is under medical device definition. And the mode of action, it actually works as a physical mode of action, where it actually acts as a cushion between the two bones. So this is a medical device criteria. I hope I answered your question. Do we have anybody else raising their hands? No. Okay, let's cover the questions. COVID campaign recommend products and list of the approved product for COVID. Is it the same? And what advantage the list is giving for the company registered in the list? I would assume that you're talking about disinfectant. The advantage is that it can be used in the healthcare sector. There are many disinfectants that did not prove its effectiveness, and it cannot be used in healthcare facilities. During registration, it was specified that free sale certificate is normally issued by the regulatory body of the country of origin. And if there is a different physical manufacturer and legal manufacturer, it was stated that it should be from the regulatory body of physical manufacturer. But in today's presentation, Ms. Sabika specified that free sale certificate should be issued from legal manufacturer country of origin. Kindly clarify if this is the case, if there is a different physical manufacturer, as well as it will be clear. So the free sale certificate you've mentioned, Sabika, should be issued for the legal manufacturer or the physical manufacturer?
From the legal manufacturer.
Why is it from the legal manufacturer? Because they're actually the entity who is putting the device into the market, right?
Yes.
Let me clarify the second point, which is registration, although we said we're only covering the classification, but since this is a valid question, in registration, we're actually checking the physical manufacturer and the legal manufacturer if they are being approved by the regulatory body. The physical manufacturer, when we talk about importation and registration, is what we are focusing on. But when it comes into classification, we look into the legal manufacturer because they're the one who's having all the documents that we require for classification. Can you elaborate why some medical devices need classification while others not? What is the criteria to know which products we have to classify, but some other examples don't have? Yes, Sabika.
Some product is needed for classified because depend to the claims and the intended use like that. Some of them, no needed for that.
Okay, let me clarify one other point in addition to what you have mentioned. When we say eye drops, there are a lot of eye drops that is a normal saline eye drops, and they can be imported as a medical device. But in order to remove this kind of a confusion at the time of registration or at the time of importation, you will need to submit all the documents for us to classify whether this is a medical device or not. But if we are talking about ultrasound, you don't need to classify ultrasound. They're well-known as a medical device. You don't need to classify implants that does not contain any biological or drug components. You don't need to classify surgical instruments. So it's actually the common sense of it. Does it fall under the definition of a medical device or not? And the borderline products that Ms. Sabika explained in the WHO image, the big circle where there are borderline products that needs to be classified regardless of its claim. What is the difference between primary mode of action and second one mode of action? I'm not sure I got the question. But the initial mode of action, like the whole device mode of action, is physical. But you can say that maybe one of the ingredients have a secondary mode of action where it has some pharmaceutical materials to remove the inflammation. What about the already approved invoices manually? If the goods still not arrived due to the shipment delay, like if they have a shipment, they have an invoice that was already approved at the time of manual approval, but the shipment did not arrive, what do they need to do?
They have to apply in UFOC because the custom, they will stop them. They will ask
so you
for
can
that
apply with the approved invoices, attach it on UFOC, and they will clear it. You don't need to go through any different process. Please, just to make sure, if we already have classification letter by PPR and we already import this product before, we need to submit to medical device classification again, or just submit invoice on UFOC?
No, you have to take a letter from our side that is the classification.
Okay. Is it a must to provide a local purchase order for importing corona test kits? Yes. For the rapid test, you need to provide the LPO of a governmental hospital. For the PCR, you need to provide an LPO of an authorized healthcare facility to do the testing, not the sampling, the testing. Because many of the importers fall under the confusion. They provide the letter of healthcare facilities approved to do only the sample collection. But there is another criteria where they are authorized to do the testing itself, and that's the only facilities that we can approve the PCR device to be imported to. Okay, if you have a new technology, I cannot say the name of it, Mr. Avanish, please feel free to send it to us through an email, and we will ask for certain documents to prove its efficacy. Do you have any privilege to speed up the importation of the COVID-19 essentials? Yes, for sure. If you have a shipment that is urgently needed for COVID-19, you need to send us an email with the reference number in order to expedite the process. Is the country of origin refers to which will be mentioned on the invoice country of origin, that is the physical manufacturer country. So if product is manufactured in China, physical, and legal is USA, we have to provide the free sale certificate from USA for classification, right?
Yes, yeah. We answered this question before.
Yes. How many products can I submit for classification in each appointment?
We have
Based
a
on
13
bundling
minutes.
method.
We have a 13-minute appointment. Our appointment is 13
That's
minutes.
after the
inshallah.
pandemic. But now during
Yes.
the pandemic, now during the pandemic, I think we can refer to the bundling method.
Yes.
Because it will be difficult for her to receive documents from different criteria where you have to provide different artwork, different intended use, and it will be a big file. So if they fall under one bundling criteria that was explained in the registration, you can submit it. Yes, is bundling process allowed for classification? Yes, this is what I've just mentioned. I think this is already answered. Okay. Question for PCR reagent shipment, CE FDA approved. The end user has ordered the shipment, whereas the delay is from NHRA approval. So it's due to the end user, some registration, or what else? The end user is already running on renewed lab. Okay, I think you're talking about NHRA healthcare facility. We cannot guarantee if the end user fulfill the criteria of coronavirus laboratories. There are certain criteria, there are certain precautions that they need to comply with. So once they have the approval from healthcare facility to actually do the testing, then only we can approve that PCR to be delivered or cleared to be delivered for that end user. Can we request for classification without invoice from supplier with product catalog and other full details?
In our checklist, there is no requirement for invoice. They can provide it, all the documents without invoice.
Thank you very much. I think we're done with all the questions. Thank you very much to those who have asked us. Okay, there's one last one. For a different pack size, does all packs require classification, or any one size of the sample pack is okay to submit and the result can be considered the same for all size?
Yes.
Yes. It can be considered. Yes, it can be considered, or yes, they have to submit. Yes, it can be considered.
Considered, okay. Yes.
Okay. If we have medical device registration certificate from SFDA, can it be replaced against FSC from reference country?
If they have
a certificate, yes, from the reference country, yes.
Yes, they have.
Can it replace the second criteria, Sabika?
First, it's a free sale certificate. The product from where? If I need the free sale certificate, the second reference country should mention also. If Saudi FDA, okay, we accept.
Okay. Thank you very much. At the end of our webinar, I would like to remind you to click on the test link shared in the chat box. We look forward to seeing you at our next session tomorrow, inshallah, for permit to use medical devices. We will just wait for the participants to find the link in the chat for the exam. And it will only be available for 20 minutes. Okay, we can now end the webinar. Thank you very much. Assalamu.